Hey, Shalom Israel. We're back. We're back. This is part two, and even though praise Yahweh Shemel Shadam, so that was a GMS. Citation to Akim out there. All right. So yeah, this is part two of Russia Ukraine. A time of war. So this is back Ecclesiastes 3 verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. All right, and this is exactly what the time we're into. We're in a time of war right now, man. All right, so we're gonna jump back into the article. So this is So it says those forces would include approximately 7,000 troops, comprising an armored brigade, combat team, and associated capabilities. A senior defense official stated they would deploy to Germany in the coming days. Biden has previously made clear that U.S. troops will not deploy to Ukraine, but over recent weeks, the U.S. military has pushed troops and equipment to NATO across NATO countries close to Russia's western flank. So this is what the U.S. been doing. I'll read that part again if you missed it. Biden has previously made clear that U.S. troops will not deploy to Ukraine, but over recent weeks, the U.S. military has pushed troops and equipment to NATO countries close to Russia's western flank. Right, so what are they doing? What are they doing right now? For weeks, America's been pushing, equipment, okay? Whether it be weapons, guns, anything, to what? Eventually invade Russia. You see? Let me get a scripture. All right, this is Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. So what is Isaiah saying? Every battle that took place in history was always with people, swords, arrows, saying in a battlefield, hand-to-hand combat, close up on a person, stabbing them, gutting them, you see? And what happens after you gut somebody? The blood splashes on your clothes, you see? So this is what Isaiah is saying. He said, well, for every battle of the warriors with confused noise, ting, 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 psh, screaming, hollering, all right? The clashing of metal with metal, swords on shields, swords on body armor. You see? That's every war in history was fought that way. What it said, but this should be with burning and fuel fire, right? So this war specifically is going to be fought with burning and fuel fire. What? World War III. This is not going to be on a land war. This is going to be a war, nuclear war. All right? Where one nation shoots a nuclear missile to the other nation. That's just going to be the war. So there's really no need for tanks or drones or nothing like that, man. This war is going to be nuclear. This is going to be the war to end all wars. That's what Isaiah is saying. You see? So let's read on. Just this morning, the Air Force announced a total of 6 F-35s will move from Germany to the Baltic and Black Sea regions. Estonia's Amari Air Base, Lithuania's Salaya Air Base, and Romania's Fetesti Air Base will each become the temporary home to 2 F-35A conventional takeoff and landing variants, which will augment fighter jets currently conducting NATO air policing missions in those nations. Previously announced deployments of HF-64 Apache helicopters are also slated to arrive in Poland and an unnamed Baltic country today. In addition to the troop movements, Biden announced another round of sanctions targeting for 4 Russian financial institutions, including VTB, Russia's second largest bank with $250 billion in assets, as well as restrictions to Russia's largest state-owned company, companies which together have assets worth more than 1.4 trillion. So of course this is America trying to target Russia's economy. Like I said, this is an all-out war strategy. This is all out war game. Okay, you see, and this is not going to end well. Okay, nobody wins in these times, in times of war like this. We estimate that we'll cut off more than half of Russia's high-tech imports and will strike a blow to their ability to continue to modernize their military, Biden said. It'll degrade their aerospace industry, including their space program. It will hurt their ability to build ships, reducing their ability to compete economically, and it will be a major hit to Putin's long-term strategic ambitions, and we're preparing to do more. Those moves could cripple Russia's defense industry, much of which is state-owned, by threatening international sales and thus challenging Russian firms' ability to invest in cutting-edge new technology, breaking defense previously reported, which is not going to do any of that because China's backing Russia. We all know that China's backing Russia. And China owns most of America's debt. Everything made in America comes from China, shipped from China. So when America put sanctions on China, it was foolishness because everything we get is literally coming from China's country. China's literally destroying their country with pollution because they want to be the number one producers of everything. And the NATO knows this, and they feel like America's stupid. You saw the little horn was the beast that ate the whore. Okay, this is going in more prophecies. All right, so this is Joel 3. Let's go Joel 3 verse 1. For behold, in those days and that time, when I bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead for them there with my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations and part of my land. Right, man, valley of Jehoshaphat in the Middle East. That's where it began, and that's where it's going to end. Right there in the Middle East, the Fertile Crescent. Okay. And this is all because what they've done to us, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the true Israelites according to the Bible. The Lord said he's going to plead meaning judge them, the nations, there for my people. They're going to gather all nations. This is World War. All right, World War II, all the nations came into battle, and World War III is exactly the same thing. All nations are going to fight, but just with nuclear warfare. All right? Verse 3, and they have cast lots for my people, have given a boy for a hole and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. You see? So let's jump down to verse 9, Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, and let them all draw near, let them come up. Right, so what is exactly the heathens, you other nations outside of the nation of Israel? What are they doing? The United Nations, the UN, okay, Russia, China, Iran, what are they doing? Preparing war. They're waking up the mighty man, you see? Let's read in verse 9. Verse 8, 10, Slagia. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. So what is a plowshare? Plowshare is used for agriculture, okay? When you're tilling the land, you're digging up the dirt, okay, to plant seed, meaning it's a time of growth. But what does that mean? What does that scripture mean? It means that nations are using less money for agriculture, for food, and they're dumping more money into weapons, okay? Advancing weapons, nuclear capabilities. That's where all the money is going. That's where the budget is going to. America cut budget and funding for agriculture and put it towards weaponry. So that's what it said. Bleach your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And what is the weak? The smaller nations. Iran, Israel, Palestine, Pakistan, Those are the weak nations saying I'm strong. All right, we got a nuclear missile. North Korea, South Korea, they not now they got nuclear capabilities. Cause now they're strong. They got the gun. You see, they're rabbits with a gun. Verse 11: Assemble yourselves and come, O ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened, and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which Jehoshaphat in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shaphat, meaning Yahweh Most High. He is Shaphat, judgment. I'm sorry, the Lord's judgment. For there I will sit and judge all the heathens round about, right? And that's let's read on. Put ye in a sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, and the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Right, see? And that's exactly what's going to happen, man. Nuclear war. Nuclear. See? And why is this being talked about, man? Because we've been saying it for the longest. Russia's attack on Ukraine raises a harrowing question. How widespread would a fallout from a nuclear bomb be? So, man, we're approaching that time very, very soon, man. That a nuclear fallout is not only a possibility, it's going to happen. 100% chance. And we're praying that we're of the elect to not get caught up in that, you see? So, you know, this is a little bit of news, man, further proving the prophecy. Just want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Al-Shah, Bashim, Chakadas, the Mohanchadel, GMS, Ruwa, say, Chichi, Argument, they're pushing his word, true sincerity, risking your freedom, you like to do so. Till next video. Shalom.